ruined the mythology for me. Why Quentin Tarantino's opinion on The Matrix changed 4 years after it came out. The Matrix is widely considered to be the most influential and impactful sci-fi movie ever made, so it's no surprise that it developed such a fierce fan base upon its release in 1999, including acclaimed director Quentin Tarantino in the years that followed. The movie's reputation took some damage after the release of The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. These sequels were completely different from the original movie and changed the franchise's lore in major ways. Revolutions in particular had a huge impact on the overall narrative and is widely viewed as the worst Matrix movie as a result. Tarantino has been one of the harshest critics of the Matrix sequels, after being wowed by the original installment. He's a massive fan of the Wachowskis' debut film in the franchise, but he's never shied away from giving his transparent thoughts about the sequels and how detrimental they are to the franchise as a whole. The director has repeatedly claimed that Reloaded and Revolutions misunderstand exactly what The Matrix is and how the concept should be used. Quentin Tarantino believes The Matrix sequels ruined the original's mythology. The origin of Tarantino's controversial comments about The Matrix actually has nothing to do with the original film. Instead, they're more focused on the first 2 sequels, The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. The filmmaker believes that these movies entirely ruin the mythology of the original story, changing certain aspects of this fictional universe that retroactively alters the first movie. Tarantino has been very vocal in the past about his adoration of the Wachowskis' original sci-fi adventure, but he's clearly no fan of their follow-up projects. Speaking to Sky Movies, Tarantino claimed that The Matrix 2 and 3 came and ruined the mythology for me. Frankly, I just can't think about it the same way as I did before. Sadly, this is a sentiment felt by countless fans of The Matrix, and the sequels have made no attempt to resolve this. The first movie is totally different from everything else in the franchise, and while there are many great scenes in The Matrix sequels, they often feel like they're made for a completely different audience. How The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions retroactively changed The Matrix. Despite all the misconceptions about The Matrix being an overly complicated story, the mythology of the first film is resoundingly simple. Neo is presented as the One, the personification of a prophecy who can overcome the oppressive machines and break free of the simulation with his superhuman powers. This is proven in The Matrix's ending, when Neo rises from the dead and defeats Agent Smith. However, The Matrix Reloaded quickly makes it clear that Neo's powers aren't as simple as the first movie made them appear, and he's not actually the One at all. The sequel introduces a divisive character called the Architect, who informs Neo that his version of the Matrix isn't the first, and there have been several chosen ones before him who underwent the same journey and ultimately decided to reboot the simulation. It's a huge bombshell that completely changes the ending of the original film, removing much of the protagonist's importance in the story. Do Reloaded and Revolutions really ruin the original Matrix movie? The decisions made in Reloaded and Revolutions and later Resurrections were all very controversial. Fans like Tarantino, who are attached to the quality of the first one, have also been very vocal about their opinion about them. However, that shouldn't detract from the greatness of the first movie. Firstly, the inclusion of the Architect in Reloaded isn't as destructive to the franchise's lore as Tarantino's comments suggest. While it certainly reframes the original movie, Reloaded's plot twists still make logical sense. It may not be what audiences expected from this narrative, but that doesn't mean it ruins the story. Secondly, no amount of plot holes or lore changes could possibly change the fact that The Matrix is a cornerstone of sci-fi cinema whose impact on the genre is still felt today. Even those who believe The Matrix's sequels make no sense at all should still be able to enjoy The Matrix for what it is, rather than considering the story in terms of what it will eventually become. These changes to the mythology don't detract from the incredible cinematography, gripping performances, or innovative storytelling of the first movie, which are undeniably its strongest assets.